Yep. I totally didn't even realize that until I saw the edit, or you actually watched it back on Friday, and, like, cool wrestling stuff in the background. I'm like, "Whoopsie."
What's up, everybody?
My name is Anthony Irvin.
You beat yourself? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
CB myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Jim Green. Don't even need a hit of whoopsie traffic light.
Okay, good.
Welcome to
One set. I haven't even tuned into anything happen in wrestling tonight because I know Saudi this weekend, and I'm sure the Gunther and Jey Uso match is going to be really good, which is probably coming up to close out the show.
Yeah.
I definitely am leaning into, okay, they've got to do Gunther and Randy Orton one-on-one, because I don't see that being a match alone, like a feud of its own outside of King of the Ring, right? And I really don't want them to do Jay and Tamatanga like some bloodline stuff, because King of the Ring doesn't need all of that. We just had so much bloodline stuff.
That will be in time. I don't think we need to have the bloodline thing. That's going to happen in time. I think anytime after SummerSlam, or it's going to brew into SummerSlam, but start probably after SummerSlam. Something will kind of come of that. I think we need to, let that storyline cool off for a little bit. I think I was mentioning a little bit of that last week, that, a lot of these things are going to start cooling off right now until, SummerSlam starts really approaching. Then we're going to start getting some big feuds again. And, I'm not sure if we get The Rock for SummerSlam yet. I would probably see Roman Reigns coming back before that, or at least some type of, return. He probably won't be fighting, but I can see him returning at SummerSlam in some type of way. But I don't think we get The Rock until maybe closer to
Rumble.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because he doesn't need to come back anytime soon,
March next year, and just be like, yep, I'm here, and it's the road to WrestleMania, and people will call it as it is, but the majority won't give.
Whoopsie.
Like, they'll just literally, you and me will just
No.
be like, oh, The Rock's on WWE TV again. We're watching. yeah.
We're watching.
And
we're tuned in again.
it's just my take on it.
Have you ever wanted to start your podcast but didn't know where to start? The One Set Bros are here to talk to you about Zencastr. Zencastr is the ultimate base podcasting solution, and now the all-in-one podcasting platform, making podcasting easy. They've sure made it easy for us to be able to record our podcast and our episodes every week for you guys. Once you've set up your account, you're simply one click away from recording a high-quality podcast with studio-quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. My personal favorite feature is their multi-layer backups, which ensure our recordings are always in the highest quality, even during unstable web connections. And if you thought you needed multiple tools and services for your podcast, Zencastr's all-in-one podcasting platform allows you to create your podcast all in one place and distribute to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code OneSetPod, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences we do with all our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's I like the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring matches that are going on right now. Obviously this is coming out Friday, like we always say, but we're taping this on Monday, so Raw, if you can see in the background, is going on. I just saw the Io Sky and Valkyrie match. That was pretty decent, and she's moving on, so she'll be taking on either
Wait, who's moving
The
on?
new
Because
NXT
I've caught
girl.
none of it.
I forget her first name, but her last name is Valkyrie. She's uh, yeah,
Valkyria. Yeah,
yeah. I do like
she
her.
was really good. I saw her in
Hmm.
the stand and deliver match from Philly
Yeah,
with, I believe,
yeah. She
Roxanne
put on a good
Perez.
match. So
Um, I was like, good stuff there. And people are complaining about, oh, NXT roster has nothing now. And it's like, this is post Mania.
well, that's
Like,
what
this
we
is what
thought
happens
when,
every year. Like,
the NXT guys that we know of now, when Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins and all those guys, Finn Balor, all those guys got moved up, and then we were saying the same thing. Like,
Finn
there's
Balor.
nobody down
Yeah.
in NXT, but it gave a chance for new people to blossom, and that's what all these people are doing. Like, you have all these new people that are coming up. They made names for stuff, so it's almost like you have to get rid of you have to trim the fat in order for all that other stuff to start coming up and make new names, because if not, they're never going to get any time to shine. So you got to move the people that deserve to be moved up to the main roster, move up to the main roster to get fresh blood into NXT, get all those names out there. We had the Adam Cole runs and everything. I mean, obviously now some of them moved to AEW, but we've had all the AEW stars, or AEW NXT stars that ran their course through it, and so it's cool to see now. I mean, we've been trying to get back into NXT. Jim has been saying, we definitely need to start paying a little more attention to NXT. So I've been trying to at least catch like the last hour on Tuesdays. So I've been, really liking a lot of the dudes that, and even the women. The women roster on NXT is impressive.
There's like a plethora of women talent in WWE right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I would actually credit like the four horsewomen, like Charlotte, Becky, Bailey, Sasha Banks.
For
Like,
sure.
they pave the way to say, hey, you can be successful doing this. Just watch us rise. And I don't even
Yeah.
think that in their minds that they were thinking that. I think they just did what they did. And now everyone was like, everyone else was like, oh, okay, maybe I should take myself a little bit more seriously because the opportunity is definitely there.
Mm-hmm. And then you had the Bella twins that try to claim like, oh well, we started the revolution. Whoopsie! Bye.
Stop it.
Get some help.
Get some help.
Yeah, you guys didn't do anything. If anything, you were more of just the same old divas that just were, the hot looking women. They're like, oh well, we just want to see you on camera every week. Where the four horsewomen, you know, they took the chance to say, hey, we're just not about looks. We can actually wrestle. And now you see a lot of these, women that are coming up now. They're like, wow, you know, they're doing stuff just as good, if not better, than some of the guys that are on the roster. And, to know that, sometimes they're even headlining, or they're closing out Raws, they're closing out SmackDowns now. That never happened in the Attitude Era. I mean, women were getting like 5 minute, if anything, 5 minute matches, if you would call them matches.
they they were getting 20 minutes on WWE programming if they weren't wrestling. So let's be clear on that.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, they've definitely come a long way, and I mean, I'm pretty stoked to see like uh how much more growth it gets into, and I kind of agree with Becky. I think they need to have more women matches that don't necessarily have a title behind it, to give them more, chances to get some matches in there that don't really have a title involved in it. So you're just having a regular match between two people, you know.
Yeah, when you can have a main event at WrestleMania and it's no titles, obviously, last one that we can remember would be Undertaker Roman Reigns WrestleMania
Yeah.
33, right? Um, and sure, that match doesn't need a title. I remember how anxious that we all were waiting to see if that was going to main event the
Mm-hmm.
show. And then when it did, everyone was just like, Undertaker's losing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Brutal match to watch, man.
It
Brutal.
was, because I think that was definitely, in the time where Undertaker was still, in that time of like, hey, I'm trying to get that last match and be okay with my last match type of thing. And he just kept saying like, oh, okay, well, that was good, but I want better. That was good, but I want better. Then he would have a brutally horrible match. Then it's like redemption match. Okay, cool. I did that. Now I got to do another match to say, okay, this is my last one. Oh, that felt. Then it took him so many, and then like, oh god, I'm just glad that, he's hopefully seems like he's at peace now with like his last official match. It's cool to see him like obviously he was at WrestleMania this past year just doing a little spot. We'll definitely be getting him doing those little things, but I mean I would like to think he doesn't feel like he has to do a whole match anymore.
Especially watching back the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
He probably watched that and was like, okay, that was tough for me to even
Uh
watch it all the way through.
right.
Right. I actually thought the Boneyard match was really good.
Yeah, I liked it too.
I- It's not something that I'm jumping on Peacock and
Now.
like, oh, I gotta watch this like all the time. And I don't even watch matches like that. I might, get into a position where I'm like, okay, I'm paying for all of these streaming
Yeah.
platforms now. Uh, which one do I want to make it make
Mm-hmm.
sense today? Uh, but I will go back and watch like TLC or Hell in a Cell matches, the Armageddon
Mm-hmm.
match, which we are doing a watch along on here
Yeah.
soon
We
for
we
that
definitely
one.
need to do another watch along wrestling match for sure. But I think probably what was the last one we did? Wasn't it one of the Royal Rumbles that we did?
I thought it was the Roman and Logan Paul
That's right.
match,
We
but
we did the Royal Rumble, and then I think either a couple. It was within a couple weeks or within a month or two that we did that too. Then we did the Roman and Logan Paul match. A watch along of that.
and that was because it was overseas and either Saturday or Sunday midday, you didn't get to watch it in real time. And I told you, I was like, dude, this match is good stuff.
Yeah,
I would go back and watch that before a lot of other things.
absolutely. Yeah, and not even just the fact that it was Logan Paul in there. It's just it was just a all around good match, And like you just said, I mean, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but you were just raving about it, like, dude, you have to watch this match. So it got to the point where like, yeah, we just got to watch this together.
And watch along commenced, right?
Commenced. Yeah.
Commenced. What are your takes for the King and Queen of the Ring PLE this weekend?
As far as the women, I'm not even sure if this is really like, the whole rumor about Bianca Belair being pregnant right now. I'm not even sure if that's just a work or if it's real, but I would think they would have said something by now because they supposedly pulled her off of a house show this weekend. So not sure if they're just silently doing something or they're just going to announce something Friday about it, that she's out of the match and Nia Jax is going to face somebody else.
Or they're just rolling with the rumors and trolling people.
Yeah, that too, because she hasn't said anything. The only thing that was really like seen about it was Montez Ford posted on his or updated his Instagram bio saying like, found me a 3 now. So, and do you see Angela Dawkins the Twitter thing?
Just retweeted with a bunch of
Yeah.
crying emojis. I saw that and I was like, I
So
love
good.
it.
So hey, if they're just playing with it, all good. But sticking with the fact that if that match does go. Um, it's hard to beat out Nia Jax because she's just plowing through everybody right now, and I mean I'm okay with it because that's what she should be doing. So, in a realness sense, I would say Bianca Belair does not pass Nia Jax. Nia Jax wins, but somehow this NXT girls, I think she's destined to get this Queen of the Ring. I think they're gonna pull an upset, and because she's been kind of winning these matches, and she's one of the newer women. So, and we know King of the Ring necessarily is like not a big achievement anymore because it's almost like a curse. I think we feel because after you win it, you tend to just kind of fade away after it. Wade Barrett. Uh,
Wade Barrett.
I've got some bad news.
Bad news. Yeah.
Dude, I've been getting this annoying itching feeling under my armpits from the deodorants I've been trying and using, and I can't seem to find something that works for me.
Have you ever tried maybe like a natural deodorant?
Natural deodorant? No. Are you insane?
No. But I am Wild.
Oh.
Wild is the UK's #1 natural deodorant company that focuses on performance, sustainability, and style.
Their mission is to clean up the bathrooms by leaving it free of ugly, single-use plastic bottles and unnecessary chemicals.
You know why Wild is great? Because it actually works and it's eco-friendly and contains over 98.5% natural ingredients.
They have a fully sustainable design with aluminum cases that last for a lifetime, plus biodegradable, recyclable refills. And you know what's cool? They can actually imprint your name on these aluminum cases for a small additional fee.
Wild is super convenient with flexible subscription options or paying as one-off purchases. And you can customize your order by choosing your case, color, and various scent combinations. I know I have the Ocean Mist, the Fresh Cotton and Sea Salt, and the Orange and Neroli flavors, and they all smell super great. And what's best about them is they don't just wear off immediately, and then all of a sudden you smell like BO.
Yeah, I've been rocking the sandalwood and patchouli scent right now. And again, great scent, lasts like throughout the day, that you're pretty much protected throughout the day. And I also was able to try the mint and aloe vera. Big aloe vera fan, right on point, long lasting, and you can look forward to these cases and scents in a limited edition every month.
Go Wild today with a special discount of 25% off your first order when you get the code OneSetPod at checkout. Go to wearewild.com and use the code OneSetPod at checkout and enjoy.
Yeah, so I'd say either I'm going with Valkyrie winning the Queen of the Ring, and then I'm gonna say Randy Orton winning the King of the Ring. I think he needs a big moment because again, we always talk about it, we don't know how much time he has either. I would like to see him get another title run, but I mean, they're obviously I can see him getting a chance with Cody, but I'm not sure if they're going to give him another title run. I would like to hope so, but I think the King of the Ring will give him that push on the throttle that he needs to get back into the championship light again.
The Queen of the Ring tournament, and it's not because it's women, it's just not compelling to me. And maybe it's because for us, like, hey, it's Rhea Ripley and everyone else over here.
Everyone else, yeah.
Literally. Not everyone else, but Charlotte's returning.
Yeah. I mean, the Liv Morgan and Becky thing has been okay. it's been at least somewhat interesting. Liv is going to try to get another shot at it. I don't see her winning though, but I think she eventually will down the line. But I don't think so yet. She will get her chance. She will get the title again, but I'm not sure if she might get it right now.
At the same time, though, I feel like Becky, with the belt right now, knows she's transitional champion and she's just
Mm-hmm.
holding on to it before she drops it to whoever they decide,
Yeah.
because she doesn't feel important. Like, I'm not watching her on TV and saying, "Oh yeah, this is big time Bex right here." I would actually go out on a limb and say Becky had already hit her prime when we saw her win both titles at WrestleMania 35. I don't think she's getting any bigger than that,
Nah.
honestly.
What can you do after winning something like that? I mean, for the women, that's probably, the peak, winning not just one belt but two belts at WrestleMania. Where else do you go from there?
I I,
So
I just think
you've
that
done it all at that point.
I think that she is comfortable with the idea of, like, being a mother, and
Mm-hmm.
she's doing the WWE thing because it's her job, but I don't see her invested in it the way that she was back then
Yeah.
in
Mm-hmm.
2019.
Yeah. I mean, the steam on that's kind of let off, and I think I mentioned that too. Like the man and the whole persona is kind of getting a little stale. It seems like they're trying to get it back, but I just I'm not into it anymore. Like I said, it's ran its course.
She would have to go full blown tweener, like, not a heel, not a face, but
Mm-hmm.
just go in the ring and just destroy everybody and leave,
Mm-hmm.
for fans to be like, "Oh my god, she had no purpose for that, but that was
Right.
awesome." Something of that nature.
Right.
And it's just not happening.
She's just kind of playing the crowd, going up there, doing what she needs to do, and leaving. I mean, there's not really much, you know, spark to it. It's like, okay, I'm champion. Let me hold this for a little while. I'm going to do some matches, and then eventually, I'm going to drop it to somebody, like you said.
Showing up, doing her job, leaving, which is okay. It's fine, but time to settle into the next generation. And like you said, a ton of female talent in NXT. We have Tiffany Stratton, who she's
Mm,
definitely getting a title before WrestleMania 41. And if she doesn't,
yeah,
guess what? She's cashing in at WrestleMania.
there you go. Yeah,
I mean, I think the King of the Ring is a lot more interesting because, like you said, you're settling in on Randy Orton. I'm totally good with him getting it. But if I want to instill the trust that I want to instill in Triple H, making these situations, King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring, Money in the Bank, these scenarios matter because the tournaments on TV, the matches have been so good, right?
they really have. Yeah,
And it's almost like, oh, well, if they go this way, and if they go this way, and there's a lot of injuries playing in, which is totally changing, the tournament
hmm
scene, which I love.
yeah.
I I think I actually think it's good that the injuries are playing into it. And I did read that Creative knew about a lot of the injuries before the tournament started and just played them in
Mm-hmm.
which I think is super smart, super
Right.
brilliant, keeps us engaged.
It kind of helps write them off too, because then you're like, oh, well, where'd these guys go? Like, you know.
I have Gunther winning King of the Ring.
If not Randy Orton for me, I would say my second would be Gunther.
Yeah, and I only say that because, and this is a super hot take that like just popped in my head. Gunther wins King of the Ring, and then all the way until the Royal Rumble. Let's say he's the last man standing in the ring,
I think I know where you're going.
and number 30 hits, and it's Triple H, right?
Ah.
Because he's talking about the King of Kings.
I thought you were going to say Brock Lesnar, and we finally get the Lesnar and Gunther match, but
That would make more realistic sense.
mm-hmm.
Especially because Brock will have been gone for so long at that point that people will just be like, oh, Brock's just gone.
Yeah.
Right? I think Randy Orton winning King of the Ring just gives him that accolade, and nothing really comes of it. Gunther getting King of the Ring, he can utilize it after losing the Intercontinental title to Sami Zayn to help reestablish him as up here in the upper mid card. Like as high as you can get him without getting to the title.
Yeah.
Which they're doing Bash at Berlin at the end of August. And I totally have Drew McIntyre. No, I totally don't.
Leave that part out from now on.
Leave that part out from now. I'll actually be pretty pissed off if CM Punk causes him that title at Clash at the Castle because of how stellar of work that Drew McIntyre is doing right now. Drew McIntyre is doing the work that I would want Becky Lynch to do to get Becky Lynch to, okay, yep, you're
yeah.
like through the roof, right?
Yeah, just going above and beyond what you're meant to be doing. And, because, he's doing the whole thing during television and even though escalating it outside of TV time and just, with social media, everything else, just kind of living into the whole living the gimmick for real and for real. So, yeah, I mean, I even though the 5 minutes of fame that he had at Mania, I think he definitely regains it back. Hopefully at Clash of the Castle, if he's in that spot.
Well, and the E is really good about not hot potatoing the main titles. Like they're really good about that. I think the last time that we saw major titles turn around that quickly was probably like Sasha Banks, Charlotte, the Raw Women's title. And that was like 6 years ago, at least. So I think it's also okay if Damian Priest drops the title, what does he do next? I mean, insert Bad Bunny anywhere because their match at Backlash last year was a
Whoopsie
banger.
Yeah,
by the way, so good.
So good.
Literally,
Jinx.
Jinx.
So good. Yeah.
There's also okay. Priest holds it, and we wind up getting to Finn Balor and Damian Priest, which like
I can see that coming.
yeah, it's already a potential option, but with Triple H, he likes to plant these seeds so that we think these things are an option, and then he's like, nope. Going that way.
That way.
Yep. Yeah.
Going that way.
And Septa Bus.
Yeah, and Septa Bus. Yeah, and that's what's just making good television. The fact that, you know, you think you know, you think you know me, you think you know me.
You think you
you
know me.
you think you know where the storyline's going, but then it just goes into a total different other area, and you're like, oh, I didn't even think about that. So it's good to not have predictable television going on like in the last like year or two with how Hunter's been really, dealing with the product that, there's been way more wrestling within this 3 hours than just long boring backstage segments and just this and like little icebreakers and just these things, and then just maybe an hour and a half of wrestling where now you're getting a good like 2.5 hours of wrestling probably with it. And along with that, you're getting good matches, not the same matches every week. I'm going to say that again. You're not getting a lot of the same matches every week like we had for so long. You're like, okay, give me something else. We've seen this for the last 3 weeks. So especially with the tournaments, uh, we're getting quality matches, new faces, new matches, the guys that probably wouldn't be in matches with each other anyway. So it's good to see these things going around. So overall, it's again, like we said, even during WrestleMania, but even still post WrestleMania, post all like smoke clearing and everything, just kind of, back down to normal level. It's still good TV to watch. When you can watch it, it's not to the point where you're like it's must see TV right now, but it's still good to be like, hey, let me flip this on, and at least you're going to get a couple good matches out of it. Even if you watch like the last hour Raw, you at least know you're going to get some good matches and some good quality content. Where I feel if it was like what 3-4 years ago, we didn't even care about if we missed like a month worth of Raw
Literally. Yeah.
because you wouldn't be missing much.
No, not even. I know last week you talked about how, hey, they're in kind of a lull period post Mania. Yeah. They're going to drop, they're going to spike at SummerSlam, and then they're going to trail a little bit because of football. Yeah, NFL. But I think Triple H has done really well about building towards Survivor Series being like a must-see PLE, especially with War Games being a part. But I will say this, because they used to have the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, and then they were cornered into, oh, we got to have these blow-off matches in Hell in a Cell. So they were cornered into having to have these 3 feuds lead up to, we're going to Hell in a Cell, and then after that, separate. Right? That being said, I feel like it's almost kind of the same thing where they're going to corner themselves into, okay, War Games has to be at Survivor Series. No, it doesn't. Put War Games at the Rumble. I get it. You already have the Royal Rumble selling that PLE on its own. But don't let War Games just be married to Survivor Series.
Yeah. I would even like it to become like and just like a regular thing, just like a Hell in a Cell or some type of stipulation like that. Like it just become a regular type of match instead of it always just like you said, just being stuck to Survivor Series. Like it can only be a Survivor Series type match. Like it would be nice for that to not overdo it, but to maybe 1 to 3 times a year would be cool to have, like, hey, you're being put into a War Game stipulation and you get your team, I get my team, let's go to town.
Okay, who are the 2 biggest factions in WWE right now? Obviously, Judgment Day over here.
Mm-hmm.
I would say LWO, obviously very, very strong.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to meet in November, right?
Right.
That could be a WrestleMania War Games match. Why not?
Yep. Yeah.
Why not?
Absolutely.
But WrestleMania sells itself. So they don't need these stipulation matches per se. Obviously, we got Bloodline rules. It's fine. WrestleMania 40, being the 40th installment, sold itself,
Mm-hmm.
right? And The Rock was there, sold itself.
Definitely.
They didn't need to invest in a crazy stage situation, presentation. Like
Mm-mm.
I bet you in Vegas for WrestleMania 41, people are gonna be like, look what they did for 39, skip 40, and went to 41. And it's like,
Yep.
yeah, 40 sold itself. They didn't need to invest the money in the staging and all of the. I mean, they brought mummers out. Come on, man.
I mean that was the icing on the cake. Come on now.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, they had a Mania at Vegas before, right? Or is this the first time they've done a Vegas Mania?
Well, I think this is the first stadium WrestleMania in Vegas,
Okay.
right? Since they started going full blown football stadiums to say, yeah, hey, we're gonna sell the
Right.
tickets and pack it out.
Mm-hmm.
Which us diehard fans, I guess we should know about when that was. I know WrestleMania 20 was at Madison Square Garden, which I say that like, oh, it's just, where the Knicks play, which sorry about your luck, y'all. Pacers beat you. Yikes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Tough loss.
yeah,
Next.
tough loss. Septa Bus.
Septa Bus. I'm gonna start getting the soundbite.
Toodles. Yeah.
Toodles. But no, when I was saying, I think I'll have to look it up. But yeah, I mean, obviously this is obviously the first stadium in Vegas, but I feel they have one. Maybe they were in Vegas for one of the first 10 Manias. I think.
I would imagine.
I think they've had to have been in a smaller venue or something. I mean, maybe like the MGM or something like that in Vegas or something. I think they had. So I'll have to look it up.
I think they did the press conference in Vegas back in March, and we're like, we're doing WrestleMania here next year.
Yeah.
Everyone being like, Minnesota. And Septa Bus. Right.
Yeah, I think they obviously probably had that all along. They just needed confirmation and everything. Especially with the date too, because it's a little bit different. But then again, you're in a warmer state, so I don't think you have to really worry about it. But I think they're just trying it out.
I think it's interesting that they position it on, I think it's Easter weekend.
Yeah, because I think next year Easter weekend is late. Really, really late.
The Cody stuff, though, I feel like it's there. But I also feel like it's the same thing as Becky, right? Like, he needs to elevate himself.
He's slow cooking right now.
And I think it's because the end game big picture is he is facing The Rock, right?
I just think everybody expected, hey, Cody's going to win this, and then he's going to be on TV every week. He's going to be defending it every week. We're going to get somebody like no, he's got to, establish. And plus, just like any time after WrestleMania, the hype starts going down a little bit. Then it starts spiking back up. And, a lot of these people that were, either, people just coming in on the Cody train that are not watching religiously, they're like, yeah, we want this guy to win. But then, they start watching like, oh, well, where is he? Where is this guy? He's not there every week or blah, blah, blah. Like, well, yeah, that's what usually kind of happens. You get a championship, you got to start establishing yourself. You got to start forming a new, thing to yourself before when Roman came in, it was a very slow build for him to get where he was, in that 4 years. It took him a couple months to really start selling that acknowledge me thing. Once he started getting that acknowledge me thing, that's when I think it really started accelerating for him.
The big picture in the whole Roman legacy, like his legendary title run,
Mm-hmm.
was when he double pinned Daniel Bryan and Edge at WrestleMania 37.
Yeah.
John Alba, credit to you from Living the Gimmick. He said, this seems to indicate that Roman Reigns is probably going to hold that title at least through next year's WrestleMania, if not longer. And he held it past 38 and past 39 and went all the way to 40 and dropped it to Cody Rhodes, which, mind you, wasn't the plan. Okay? The plan was Roman and The Rock, Mania 40, and Roman was supposed to retain. So every time that I see Cody hitting the 3 crossroads on Roman, and then Roman smiling when he's eating the pin, I was like, this guy knows he gets to take a little breaky break. A little breaky break, right?
He's smiling like, Cancun.
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 Dude, perfect. Seriously.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I was even going to start asking you, like, now with the new bloodline stuff, have you been keeping an eye on, how the new bloodline is kind of forming right now with, Soku or whatever the hell his name is?
So the fact that you
Solo, yeah.
The fact that you couldn't even
Soku.
remember his name
Is the point, yeah.
don't care.
I like the fact, the only thing that I would say, I like the fact that he's playing it to the point where, Paul Heyman was saying, like, well, I haven't talked to Roman Reigns since WrestleMania. And, Solo's been saying, like, well, yeah, I've been talking to him. And he's just acting like Roman's pretty much giving Solo the acting boss type of thing, where, I think it'll just come to the point where Heyman realizes that he wasn't talking to Roman, he was talking to The Rock. So then we get, The Rock on that side, and that's how Roman, gets Jimmy and Jay back in. They start forming, the OG bloodline. Soku gets his whole, bloodline 2 back, whatever. And yeah, then we get that whole thing.
I would be way more
Solo, not Soku. I don't know why I keep saying
Sudoku.
Soku. Sudoku. Yeah, there you go. Fuck.
Just to wrap this up here, I think that just like the Cody Rhodes title story, the bloodline story needs to be just like pulled down here, a little less relevant so that they can place higher priority on everything else. Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, and CM Punk, right?
Yeah.
Gunther, the women, because there's so many of them now, right?
Yeah.
The tag team division, Logan Paul. Hey, if LA Knight doesn't win the US title from Logan Paul at SummerSlam, and I'm not that kind of fan. I'm usually very like, hey, however Triple H books it, this is one that is so obvious that like if they don't pull the trigger on that, what the
Whoopsie
even happening right now?
Yeah.
LA Knight.
He needs a belt soon.
LA Knight actually needs the United States Championship. The Intercontinental title, Sami Zayn, I could care less. Actually, because I don't think that Sammy beating Gunther at WrestleMania to me was almost like a consolation prize. Like, hey,
Hmm.
thanks for all that you've done for us all of these
Yeah.
years. I just don't see him carrying it that very long. And I don't see him making that title important enough. And love the
Hmm.
guy, love his work,
Yeah.
but I'm also very good with him in the ring without a title on the line. That's just my take.
Yeah. I think it was a good payoff. The fact that everything he's been through in that last year with the bloodline and him almost winning the championship and then getting kicked down, knocked down, beat up, going up and down. And I think it was a good payoff to his year because I think he had a good, decent year from Mania to this past Mania. So I mean, I'm not mad about not saying you're mad about it, but I'm not mad about it. I'm glad he's having a title and everything. But yeah, I don't see him holding it too long. Um,
I will just say the only person to take it off of him and make that title important, and he should hold it for a long time, is Kevin Owens. He's
yeah,
the person to do
yeah,
it. And
hmm,
have Sammy lose to him 3, 4, 5 times, and then in 2 years from now, win the Money in the Bank briefcase, and then cash in on Kevin Owens while he still has the Intercontinental title, and then beat him. Then it
yeah,
will actually outshine him beating Gunther at WrestleMania 40, in
yeah,
my opinion, at least
yeah. That'd be cool.
because of their history and everything. Um,
Absolutely, absolutely.
I not a lot much more to say other than like I think that they're doing really good with TV, and I'm watching and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, they're production end wise so good.
yeah. Like I said, it's good TV to the fact that you know even if you can't watch all of Raw and you get to watch like the last hour, hour and a half, you're getting good content. Oh, okay, cool. I saw this one. Maybe I'll watch the other half of it tomorrow morning because I want to see what else happened. Fridays are always usually tough, no matter what. But I feel it's still to the point where it's not like must see TV. And again, I'm reiterating myself, but it's to the point where you're like, hey, I'm gonna sit down and watch this, and I don't have to worry about it being boring. I feel like you're getting something out of it, and you're just getting something fresh every week. And if it's not fresh, it's keeping you interested to rewatch something more the following week instead of just having the same lines, the same people, the same feuds, then recycling the same matches or just doing the same match but then doing it in a different type of way. Like, you know, Hunter's taking the seat and, just he's doing a great job. I mean, other people may not agree with us, and I'm sure there's people who agree and disagree, but I think Hunter's been doing really well, and it's it it, it showed at Mania, and the fact that how he ran the whole you know uh, product leading into Mania just goes to show that he knows how to run this thing the right way, or not even just the right way. He knows how to run a business this way and knows what the people want to see, what's going to make them continue to be glued onto the product every week. And, you know, it's great.
And I think the biggest testament to that is how he led NXT.
100%.
Look at how many people erupted from NXT to the main roster and where they are now.
Hmm.
He did that.
Yep.
Not single-handedly. He obviously had a team, and
Right.
but that talent that thrived from NXT and made it to the main roster trusted him, right?
Yes.
So I think the bigger telling story isn't, oh, WrestleMania 40 and everything that led up to it. We're in the Paul Levesque era. let's dissect how great of a job he's doing at Mania 41, because he'll literally go from one Mania to the next, and we'll be able to reflect back on what did he do in between this one and that one.
Yeah, it'll be a good thing to kind of see how, like you said, from 40 to 41, you know, changes. Like, because obviously it was the first Mania that he ran, so he's just gonna look at the things that he did good, the things that probably you can improve on. How do we make this better? How do we make that better? And we did good on these, and where can we improve? So you're only expecting more and more out of this coming, instead of it just being like, it's gonna break off sometime. Like, we expected that to happen when Vince was running. Like, we know we're gonna get some pretty stale product coming here, so we can just stop watching. Hence, it was always around the football season. We're like, we can cut off wrestling for a little while because we know it's going to be stale television until football kind of starts dying down. But I don't think we're gonna get that much. I don't think I think we were still watching a good amount last year, and I mean, I still think we're gonna get the same thing this year, where they're still gonna be trucking along to kind of keep eyes on the product. I mean, they know they're gonna be battling against Monday Night Football every night, but that shouldn't like deem you to be like, well, let's just keep the foot off the gas. Like, well, give the people something to stay put on it, because not everybody's going to want to watch every single Monday Night Football game. There's going to be some shitty games, just like anything. So when there is, we'll be watching wrestling or something else, But I think Paul Levesque just knows what's going to make the viewer want to keep watching.
And I think that he is appreciative of the fact that it's like, hey, let's let some of the casual fans carry on with the rest of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting the product that we are now, which is very good. It's not must-see TV. It's not. But if you
Yeah.
tune in, you're seeing some good stuff, right? In the ring.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be going and promoting like, you got to be watching wrestling right now. It's the greatest stuff. Like this isn't the time you want to be doing. Like, the time you should have been doing that is in between the road to WrestleMania into WrestleMania. That's when you needed to be like, hey, if you want to be watching something right now, you need to be paying attention to it right now. You would be doing that probably closer to SummerSlam, depending on what feuds we're going to be getting in that. But right now, it's just kind of transitional stuff leading into everything.
The injuries are kind of big.
Yeah, that too.
Right?
Doesn't help.
Right. By the way, Gunther beat Jey Uso. He advanced. I just pulled up the Twitter and saw that.
So it's no, because Randy Orton has to win one more to get to the finals, right?
He has to beat Tama Tonga, which
on Friday, right?
If it was like, okay, if Jey Uso wins this, Tama Tonga's winning the Friday match. If Gunther's winning it, Randy Orton's winning it. So
yeah,
I think we're both in agreement. We're getting Gunther versus Randy Orton.
Yep.
I'm all about Randy selling, like, oh, my back or his injuries and stuff. But I'd just love to see Gunther and Randy Orton in his prime.
Mm.
And I feel like Gunther winning is just going to be because Randy is hurting. And I don't love it, but I understand it from storytelling perspective. And again, Gunther winning King of the Ring. He's got that to boast on after dropping the IC title to Sammy. It's almost like we're not even talking about that anymore.
Right.
Now it's just like, yeah, I'm King of the Ring.
Yeah, just moving on. Yeah.
Who wants this?
Honestly, I don't even care who wins at that point, Randy or Gunther. I would like to see Randy as number one. Obviously, if not, Gunther's fine. So I mean, you and me are at both different ends, which I'm fine with because I like both of them.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean, I
good.
like both of them winning.
I'm good with Randy winning.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong. It's just
yeah. Like we're kind of like the same aspect, but we want two different people to win, but we don't care who wins out of each other. So
yeah, exactly. Anth, anything else before we sign off, or what do you think?
yeah, we haven't done a full wrestling episode in a while, so it's been cool to kind of check in with it since WrestleMania. I hope all our wrestling fans dig this little, uh, you know, Saudi Arabia or Jedi,
Blood money.
blood money. So, what time does that? That's during the day, right? Saturday.
I think it starts at 1:00.
Yeah, I probably won't be watching. Uh, so I'll probably catch it later
I
that night or something.
I will probably catch it later at night too. Honestly, just dead smack in the middle of the day, especially Memorial Day weekend. They can't expect a lot of
Yeah,
viewers at that time.
that's true. Yeah, and then yeah, I mean, I got a gig this Friday. Well, it'll be tonight when this comes out. So if anybody locals watching this, feel free to come out. I'll be at Martin McGee's from 9 to 1 a.m. So come out, hang out, grab a beer, and listen to some music. Other than that, just trucking along, man. Uh, you have anything to say before we sign off?
We didn't necessarily have like an agenda for this episode, and I didn't think it was going to be full blown wrestle, just like chit chat stuff. I know
Yeah.
you have kind of a big day tomorrow. We wanted to get this out there. Thank you to everybody who has tuned in to watch this episode. It means a lot to Anthony and I that you are
Yes.
just checking in. We are just straight up having a good time,
Yeah.
living our lives, and all the love to everybody. Anthony, all the love to you too, bro. Thank you.
All love, bro. This has been One Set, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
One set, y'all.